Hi, Keith Thrasher here again. I'm going to be covering probably this last tutorial on team bass fishing. Now I'm down here at our subdivision's pond. Pretty good sized pond. We got quite a bit of bass in here, and lots of bluegill, some crappie, catfish, but bass fishing, that's what we're going to be concentrating on. And particularly today, I'm going to go over the techniques of jigging. We covered flipping and pitching in the last one. Jigging is very important technique, especially when you are using rubber crawdad. Bass absolutely love crawdads. It's probably one of their favorite meals. And what jigging does, you're trying to mimic the movements of the crawdad. If it's just sitting on the bottom, bass isn't going to find it. They need to see movement. And what better way with a crawdad? Because crawdad, when they move, they go backwards. They go backwards, kind of like a lobster. Just a smaller version of a lobster, basically all they are. So that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to mimic the movements of the crawdad. These are especially good in heavy cover. They have a hook that kind of buries themselves up inside. So when when bass attack, they attack ferociously. I mean, they just don't nibble. They take the whole bait into their mouth, and that's when you got to know when to set your hook. But the hook's buried deep enough into the body where it's not going to get caught up on any foliage or dead branches or whatever. Several other jigs and bait that have the same way. They have a small kind of a little cover here that goes down and covers the hook so it doesn't get caught. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to mimic the motions of the crawdad. Now, if you are unsure of the depth of whatever body of water you're fishing in, what I'm going to show you, when you cast out, you're going to count. And when you feel your line goes slack, because you want to use a weight that's about quarter to a half an ounce. You want it to be heavy. So when you feel your line go slack, you know you've hit the bottom, and you want to count 1, 2, 3, and that way you can kind of judge if you're going to keep trying to fish the same run of grass or heavy cover. That's how we're going to do it. So let me just go ahead and demonstrate real quick. I'm just going to use a standard cast. Get it out there. 1, 2, 3. It's on the bottom, so not very deep here. It's probably 4 or 5 feet max. So it's on the bottom, and this is what a crawdad does. A crawdad just doesn't swim around in the water. It drops. It's always on the bottom. So what you want to do, so now you got tension. You can see I don't know if you can see the pole or not, but it's got a little bend in it. So that means I got tension on the line. So what you're going to do, you're going to start reeling, and then you're going to go pop, 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 because when a crawdad swims, it doesn't swim like a fish. It jerks because it's flapping its tail, and that's how it moves. So that's what we're going to do. So now I'm moving. I'm just going to go pop, 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 reel, pop, 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 reel, pop, 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 reel, pop, 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 reel. And if you got a bass's attention, it's going to follow that crawdad until it gets it in the mouth. But the key is finding where the bass are hiding. So that is a crawdad jigging technique. Let me go ahead and throw it out here again. I know I'm not going to catch anything because the water's a little too cold for them right now. So I'm going to let it. I don't want it to drop this time. So now I'm about halfway, and I'm popping. So now I'm closer to the water, on the top of the water. So if there's a lot of heavy cover, you're going to be skimming that crawdad on the top of all that foliage, and that's the key. That's what you want it to do. So that is in essence jigging. It's a great technique, and if you can get that technique down and mimic the movements of a crawdad, bass are going to be hitting left and right. But the key is try to find out where the bass are, because bass do like to congregate, and they like to congregate under heavy cover. Very rarely you're just going to see a bass swimming out in the lake or pond or whatever. They're going to be closer to the bank. That's just the way they are, because that's where most of the bait fish like minnow and crawdads are. They're not out in the middle of the lake. But that is, like I said, that is bass fishing, team bass fishing, because a lot of teams, they're going to use this technique. You'll have one guy fishing with a crawdad. You'll have the other guy in the boat flipping and pitching, and in combination, that's how you catch the fish. That's how you win your tournaments. And so that's kind of team sport fishing, and in a nutshell, I guess. And for my weekly, excuse the geese. We have a lot of geese down here. It's called the duck pond, so you can see why. But so did quite a bit of walking this week. I did a lot of building. I put up a little storage shed that took me about 3 days to complete, about 8 hours a day. So lots of manual labor there. So my body has been in motion quite a bit this week. I'm really sore. I've continued with push-ups and sit-ups. I haven't really met my 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups a day this week, just because I've been so sore. But I think I probably got every other day 50 and 50. So that has been my physical activity for the week, and I think we got one more week to go. I think I'll probably do maybe some volleyball techniques with my wife next week. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.